All right, looks like we are live, which means that we can start talking a little bit about this week of Big Brother and how we don't have anything to talk about really this week so far. The feeds are down. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. We'll hopefully get them back. Rumor has it at 9 p.m. Pacific time tonight, which is midnight Eastern time, which, that sucks, but it is what it is. What can you do about it? But, we can talk about the episode last night. Obviously, for the Have Not Room proper, we didn't get a chance to cover the episode. We only covered up to the veto episode as a channel. So today we'll just, have a very laid back, probably won't even put this on the podcast feeds. We'll probably just keep this as a, Brian exclusive on the YouTube channel stream and the Twitch channel. And that's, of course, youtube.com/@betterradio and twitch.tv/wickedgoodeverything. And then on TikTok, if you want to watch it because you're on one of the other platforms, it is, of course, the Have Not Room on TikTok. So we started the night off with segments basically just like showing that Mickey was not in a good spot whatsoever. And it was unfortunate, of course, for her, with everyone just kind of, I guess, moving away from her after she won that power to overthrow Riley's HOH and kind of had like HOH-itis a little bit. And unfortunately for her, it ended up being the end of her game, really. Didn't immediately happen, but just kind of like separated her from her alliance and allowed the judges to perform, and that protected Vince. So after that, we get to the battle, the block bus. I almost called it Battle of the Block. I always want to call it the Battle of the Block. Battle of the Block hasn't been a thing since BB17, which is 10 years ago now, but for whatever reason, my mind always goes to that. The Blockbuster. So we get to talk a little bit about the Blockbuster with Vince coming out victorious. And this was a Blockbuster that I really enjoyed last season. One that Tucker won. He won quite a few of them. But it was the one where Quinn was on the block with him. And I thought they had like a fun little twist on it this year with the DNA, which I guess like a little bit like plays into what they're trying to do here with the hotel mystere theme, the crime theme. So it was like a DNA sequence that they had to get. Vince won. It was decently close enough to be exciting. A hard challenge to show really live. I don't know. When I was watching it, they had like this long shot of everything, and I was almost thinking like maybe they should have another camera angle for each of the players, just their DNA sequence so we could follow the balls going up. But eventually they settled on having all three players on the screen at the same time in like these kind of smaller boxes, which I thought worked relatively well, all things considered. But I did think also that, this is a difficult competition to have as a live viewer. Ultimately, Vince does win it. He saves himself. Cameron, thank you so much for the roses over on TikTok. That was very kind of you. So Vince wins it. And I think that's good for Vince. One, as someone who wants an entertaining season, wants something to follow where it's going to be kind of different. Like, I do think if Vince leaves, Rachel probably steamrolls to the end. Can Rachel win? If you watch the conversation we had with Cameron, he doesn't think that a returning player can win, but it's possible that she at least gets the end. Someone loses to her. With Vince in the house, I do think he's an effective player when he's not whining. which unfortunately he does kind of whine a lot. He's a whiner. And, that's just the kind of player he is. But I think it's also good for him on a personal level because I don't know if you've been following along with stuff online. If you have, you've probably seen that he's not following his girlfriend anymore. She's not following him. Presumably, she blocked both accounts from each other, and she seems done with him. Maybe it'll be like we talked about Big Brother 17 at the beginning of this one. Maybe it'll be like that, where Austin received essentially a Dear John letter. But yeah, no, I think Vince and his girlfriend are probably done. And we'll see if that plays out. And then he can just openly pursue stuff with Morgan in the house. But, he would have been heading back to kind of a bad situation that he caused. No one to blame but himself. But now he has a chance to win $750,000 at least. Would have been like broke, no girlfriend, no place to stay, all of that. But yeah, so very interesting there. I really do wonder if we will see anything come of it on the show. We already had like a cheap man segment, which quite frankly, I was surprised that we did that. I really thought that the show would kind of try to stay away from it, but they are full sending going into it. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on it. But Vince is the only one who votes for Ashley, the only one who wants to keep Mickey. And I was like, what a weird vote. Why did he do that? Hopefully we'll get to find out tomorrow when the feeds come back. But I was very naive because it is tomorrow at the time of going live. It is September 5th, 4:09 East Coast time. Feeds are not back. We've seen people say that the feeds are going to come back at midnight Pacific time, or rather midnight Eastern time, 9 p.m. Pacific time. We'll see what happens. I guess that would be after Unlocked airs over on the West Coast. So I don't know if they're integrating Unlocked with Lance Bass, which is certainly something. But we'll see what happens there. I've talked shit about Unlocked. I don't think it's working that well, but maybe they figure it out. As long as they don't trick us into watching it like they did a couple weeks ago on Sunday night episode, I'm fine with it. But we'll see what happens with Unlocked. And the rumor is right now, it's been alluded to by Shannon Tharp that we're doing a kind of safety chain competition. We'll see if it's the type that gets someone eliminated, as what happened in reindeer games. That was what was used to imply what was happening. I think all of us can agree that we would not love it if it ended up being somebody getting straight up eliminated due to losing a competition. That's just not in the spirit of Big Brother. Cam was in here earlier. Cam saved himself from elimination because of a competition when Jared lost that competition. But they were both evicted and then had to win a competition to stay or go. That's a different thing than somebody, I think, just being eliminated without being evicted. I think it'd be shitty. Personally, I don't think it would be fun. It would be very fun to watch, but we'll see what happens there. We'll see if that ends up being what, is the case. There's been, I think, Hamster Watch on Twitter or X, whatever you call it now. They said that we're going to be upset when the feeds come back, which does make me nervous that it's going to be this person was eliminated by a competition twist. I think that would suck, quite frankly. So I am still hoping that isn't going to be the case, but we'll see what happens there. Otherwise, we're just going to be upset when the feeds come back because the feeds have been gone for the whole day, all of Friday. We just won't have had them, which It's not what we want. Where we live for the live feeds. We live to know what's going on. I'm desperate to know who won HOH so I can start trying to figure out what's going to happen for the rest of the week. But unfortunately, I'm not able to, and that's why I'm here right now. That's why I'm testing out doing a live stream on TikTok, doing a live stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time, because, you know, figured may as well give something for the Big Brother fans to watch. So if anyone's watching and has any opinions of the Big Brother episode from last night, or why you think the feeds have been down for so long, please sound out off in any of the comments. I would love to engage in that and see if anything comes of it. I guess we'll see. I'm kind of hoping that if they do the safety chain thing and it doesn't end up being, somebody being evicted, I'm hoping that it's because it's the person who doesn't finish the puzzle gets nominated. I think that'd be much better. Well, I don't think it'd be ideal. I think it'd be at least much better than what potentially we are going to see. But, we'll see. Big Brother has made inexplicable choices in the past. This could definitely be one of them. Well, let's go over to Twitter here, see what's happening in the Big Brother 27 tag on there. Watch it. Let's see. So yeah, Mickey obviously was doing the rounds. Rob has a podcast, was drinking the same drink that she drank straight out of in the fridge that people were like, that's disgusting, which it is. So that's very funny that he did that. Got lots of memes about people not being able to watch how it feels being 26, waiting to find out who the HOH is, and his buddy from the Will Ferrell Christmas movie Elf there. So I think, this was, somewhat interesting. Julie Chen talking about the fight that Keanu had with Rachel and Ashley. Julie said, I thought it was very uncalled for, mean and immature. Then with Ashley and Rachel ganging up on him was like Mean Girls. They accused him of yelling at them when he wasn't. It was them yelling at him. It seemed more like strategy to make him feel alone and weak and threatened rather than it being a genuine emotional reaction. But it didn't seem to make a dent in Keanu's confidence. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how that ends up. I think Keanu could be in a lot of trouble this week if it is a safety chain thing, and just generally too. We'll see there. But yeah, not much happening at the moment, unfortunately, for everyone wanting to know what's going on with the live feed. So I just put a video up on the channel, or I guess on the TikTok account, talking about last night's episode. So you can check that out if you're so inclined. And then we will see, I guess, how this plays out. If you had a guess, who do you think HOH is going to be? Obviously can't be Keanu right now. I think it would be most interesting. Obviously, like Rachel winning would be very interesting. But who knows if she's going to be able to. Kelly winning could be interesting just because she's never quite had that power this season. She's had plenty of wins on the blockbuster, but never won an HOH. But she's been so close. So she's certainly someone who could come through and win one of these competitions and make things interesting. Vince winning HOH again would be quite interesting. Would he go after Keanu? Would he try to make things right with him after, these last couple of weeks of betraying one another? We will see there. I'd love to see Ashley win an HOH. One, she's my winner pick, so yeah, of course. But I'd like, people have been saying that she is playing intentionally like dumb, or at least like trying to come off as intentionally dumb to her fellow house guests. So it'd be interesting for her to win power and then actually have to show her cards in some way. So those are the most interesting ones that I can think of. Let me know what you think and who you think would be the most interesting winner of HOH. Just if you're on TikTok or in the live on YouTube or Twitch, you can comment, or if you're watching this as a VOD, you can let me know in the comments of that video there. And yeah, other than that, I think that's probably going to be it. Like I said, not a lot to talk about here, but maybe I'll start mixing these in each week to the content on Friday, especially when we'll actually have something to talk about because we'll actually have live feeds. So thank you to everyone who's checked this out, both live and in the future as a VOD. And make sure you subscribe to Better Radio and the Have Not Room on YouTube and follow the Have Not Room on TikTok. I will see you in the next one.